Ever had a moment where something just didn't feel right? So you canceled the trip, changed your route, or ignored the call, then later found out that decision saved you. That wasn't coincidence. That was protection you didn't even know you needed. So before you scroll past this, just know, the next few minutes might make you see your life in a whole new way. Not in a spooky, superstitious way, but in a divine alignment kind of way. Because whether you believe in it or not, sometimes the things that don't happen for you are the very things happening for you. Let's talk about the undeniable, often overlooked signs that something bigger than you is keeping you safe. I've learned this in the quiet of my own storms. Protection doesn't always look like peace. It often shows up in discomfort. You lose the job, you miss the flight, you drift from someone you thought was permanent. But here's the secret, some delays are divine. And in hindsight, you realize that what you thought was rejection was actually redirection. See, when you're being shielded from danger, you won't always get a loud warning. Sometimes it's a whisper, a nudge, a gut feeling, a door that won't open no matter how hard you push. And when that happens, it's not the universe punishing you, it's something sacred pulling you back before you walk into something you weren't built to survive. I want to give you 9 signs that may look random, maybe even frustrating, but are actually sacred interventions. They don't always come wrapped in comfort, but they are wrapped in grace. So if you've been feeling confused, if you've been wondering why certain things keep getting blocked in your life, you might just be getting protected in ways you can't yet understand. You were ready. Bags packed, mind made up, plans lined up perfectly. Everything seemed good to go, and then out of nowhere, things just started falling apart. A canceled meeting, a flat tire, a missed call that changed the whole direction of your day, and it's frustrating, right? You start questioning everything. You wonder if you did something wrong, if you're being punished, if the timing is off again. But what if I told you that those disruptions are not random? What if every little setback is actually a setup for something better, or a shield from something worse? See, sometimes you're being slowed down not to hold you back, but to keep you safe. You wanted to be at that place at that time with those people, but something beyond you whispered, wait! And in the moment, it feels like chaos. It feels like your whole day, your whole dream even is falling apart, but you don't know what you were really being pulled away from. Maybe it's a car crash you never saw coming. Maybe it's a meeting that would have broken your confidence. Maybe it's just not the time for you to walk through that door because what's on the other side would have taken more than it gave. And the thing is, we rarely find out what we were protected from. We don't always get the aha moment right away. But every time something unexplainably falls apart, take a breath. Because that might be the moment your life just got saved, and you didn't even know it. And then there's that feeling, you know the one. That strange pull in your stomach. That quiet, stubborn voice in your mind saying, oh, don't go. Or maybe it says a call first or something's off, it's not loud, doesn't shout, doesn't come with flashing lights or a dramatic soundtrack, it's just there, gentle but strong, easy to ignore but hard to forget. We call it a gut feeling, intuition, instinct. But more often than not, it's something deeper. It's not anxiety. It's not fear. It's that sacred whisper from something greater than us, guiding us, guarding us. You don't always understand why, but it shows up at just the right time. And the truth is, listening to that inner nudge could be the difference between walking into danger and walking into destiny. Maybe you were about to trust someone, but your heart just didn't sit right. Maybe you were about to invest in something, and out of nowhere, your spirit said, wait. And later, you realize, wow, I almost walked into a mess. You don't need proof to trust that feeling. You don't need anyone else to understand it. That inner signal, that invisible tap on your shoulder, is real. And the more you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. It's like a built-in radar, not just for what you want, but for what you need. For what's safe, for what's meant for you. Sometimes the protection doesn't come from outside. It's already living inside you. And then there are days when you just feel off. You're not sick. Nothing's really wrong. But you wake up and your energy is low. Your mind is cloudy. Everything feels heavier than usual and you can't explain why. You try to push through it, drink the coffee, play the music, force a smile, but something inside still says, slow down. And maybe you're the type that's always on the go, always moving, always showing up. So when this kind of tired hits, it feels like you're falling behind. But what if this kind of exhaustion isn't weakness? What if it's wisdom? Sometimes when your body can't keep up, it's not because you're lazy. It's because your spirit is stepping in to protect you, to stop you from walking into something too heavy for you right now. Maybe the meeting you're trying to force isn't meant to happen today. Maybe that phone call you've been avoiding isn't supposed to happen yet. Maybe, just maybe, your delay is your safety. You see, there are moments when life forces you to rest, not because you're failing, but because you're being covered. You might not see what you're being shielded from, but the slowdown is part of the plan. You weren't built to go nonstop. You were built with built-in warnings. And when your body, your mind, your energy tells you to pause, that's not weakness. That's divine strategy. That's sacred protection hiding in plain sight. And sometimes people just start fading from your life. Someone you used to talk to every day suddenly feels distant. A friendship that once felt unbreakable starts to feel one-sided. You're left wondering, what happened? Did I do something wrong? You replay conversations, question yourself, maybe even blame yourself. But what if the separation wasn't a loss? What if it was a layer of protection? See, not everyone in your life is meant to stay forever. Some people are only there for a chapter, not the whole story. And when certain connections start falling away without warning, it can feel confusing and painful. But sometimes those people were connected to paths you didn't need to walk, or energies you didn't need to carry, or situations you were never supposed to step into. You might not see it right now, but that quiet distance could be saving you from drama, from heartbreak, from destruction you didn't see coming. Sometimes people are removed from your life not because they were bad, but because your journey needed peace, growth, clarity, and they couldn't walk with you where you're going. You don't always get an explanation. You don't always get closure. But you get space to heal, space to rise, space to become who you're meant to be without the weight of who you used to be around. And if it feels like certain people are being pulled away, maybe it's not rejection. Maybe it's a rescue. Maybe it's heaven making room for better connections. And then there are those moments when you've done everything right. You prepared, you planned, you showed up with all your heart, you were ready, and still the door doesn't open. The opportunity slips through your fingers. The answer is no, or worse, silence. It feels unfair. It feels like life is punishing you for trying. But maybe it's not punishment, maybe it's protection in disguise. Sometimes what we want isn't what we need. And just because a door looks good doesn't mean you used to want something so badly. Maybe it was a job, a relationship, a goal, and now, out of nowhere, your heart just isn't in it anymore. The excitement is gone. The passion faded. And instead of joy, you feel anxiety. You feel resistance. You feel unsettled every time you think about moving forward with it. And you wonder what changed. This isn't you being confused. This isn't you giving up. This might be a deeper kind of wisdom showing up. Because sometimes when your spirit knows something isn't right, even before your mind catches up, it starts sending you signals. That discomfort you feel, that sudden emotional block, that's your inner warning system. That's the part of you that sees what's ahead and says, oh no, not this. It can feel weird, especially when it's something you've prayed for, planned for, maybe even fought for. But just because you wanted it before doesn't mean it's still right for you now. And it takes strength to accept that, to step back, not because you're afraid, but because you're aware. You're in tune. Sometimes protection looks like losing interest in the wrong thing. It looks like a door closing inside your own heart before anything ever happens on the outside. And while it may feel like confusion, it's actually clarity. It's your soul protecting you from a path that no longer serves you, even if you don't yet understand why. And then out of nowhere, you hear something. Maybe it's a stranger talking behind you in line. Maybe it's a clip that pops up while you're scrolling. Maybe it's a podcast, a quote, a random post, and it hits you so hard. It feels like it was placed in your path on purpose. You weren't looking for it. You weren't expecting it. But it shows up at the exact moment you needed to hear it. And everything in you pauses. That's not just luck. That's not just timing. That's guidance, that's protection showing up in the form of a message. Sometimes you're about to make a choice that could shift everything. You're about to trust the wrong person, take the wrong turn, settle for something less than you deserve, and then boom! You hear that one sentence that makes you rethink everything. You feel something shift inside, and suddenly you see things clearer than before. This is how you know you're being watched over. Because even when you're unsure, even when you're about to make a move you might regret, something steps in to pull you back, to wake you up, to reroute your direction without forcing it. And most of the time, these moments are quiet, subtle, easy to overlook if you're not paying attention. But they're real, they're powerful, and they often come when you're right on the edge of stepping into something that could hurt you. That overheard conversation, that random scroll, that small spark of clarity, it's not just noise, it's protection in action. The truth is, you'll never know all the battles you were spared from, but if you stay aware, if you tune in, you'll start to recognize the sacred pattern. Every pause, every no, every discomfort might just be a whisper that says, I'm not here, not now, I've got you, you're not unlucky. You're not behind, you're protected, so trust it.